everybody. Welcome to Mouth Matters, open and honest conversations about oral cancer. And today, my name is Eva Grayzel. I am your host. And today, we have Rachel Parsons and her husband, Tim. I met them a decade ago and was so inspired by their story. I'm really so honored to welcome you both here today and hear your story once again so you could share your wisdom and inspiration with all of our listeners. So, Rachel, can we start with your story? Your cancer was in your cheek, right?
Yeah, so mine was just like to begin with, it was like a little ulcer that just it was there. Um, I noticed it on Boxing Day 2007, and obviously with the kids running around because our children were only our youngest was 1, and our eldest was only 11. So we got
Wow.
we got five children.
So you felt
Um,
something with your tongue, or did you feel pain?
No, I just felt like a lump, a
Hmm.
little lump, like an ulcer.
Okay.
Um,
So it
and it
hurt.
was yes, like how an ulcer would hurt.
Okay.
Um, and you know, in the Parsons household many years ago, when all the kids were little, it was absolutely hectic. So I just carried on.
Of
Um,
course, you put yourself last and you put
yeah,
everybody else first. I
yeah,
know all
yeah,
about it. I think
yeah.
a lot of people can relate to that.
Yeah, it is, especially for a mum, not dissing dads, but mums do sort of forget about themselves and make
Yeah,
sure that everybody else is looked after.
that's right. It's a good
So,
lesson for everybody. So you have this lump, you finally get it checked out. After how long? How long was this delay?
so that was Boxing Day 2007, January. I still had this lump, and I spoke to my mum, and my mum said, you need to go to the doctors. So I phoned the doctors, got in to see the GP straight away, and he said, "Oh, it's mouth. It's a dentist." So, okay, no problem. The doctor had seen. He told me to go to the dentist. Made an appointment with the dentist, and he had a look, and he said, "Oh no, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Or
It's something called lichen planus." And I was like, never heard of it. So he said, "Oh, it's just like having a callus on your hand." So with that,
I heard the same story.
yep. So I just thought, oh, it's callus. God knows how I thought I'd got this callus, but anyway. So life again, like I say, carried on um, with Tim and the kids,
How much
and
longer until you were finally diagnosed?
so that was in the January, and I didn't actually get my full diagnosis till the August.
Wow, so that was a big delay.
It was a
Okay,
long
so you get
delay.
this diagnosis, you have this really challenging surgery, which is very much like a lot of us know, where you have a graft from your wrist,
Yeah,
the artery from your arm, and you've got reconstruction of that part of your inside of your cheek. So you have all this done. Tim has a full-time job as a firefighter, right,
yeah.
Tim?
That's right.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you're saving lives, and here you can't save your wife's life, or you didn't think so. Here you're Mr. Brave running into fires, and yet your bravery was being questioned. Could you tell us about what that was like for you, raising 5 kids, your wife's in the hospital, and you've got this full-time job? How did you do it?
I I just kind of tried to put myself in work mode to try to prioritize things, to keep everything going, um, just manage the situation and almost treat it like I would an incident, if I was on the fire ground. Um,
So it
So
sounds like you handled everything very intellectually. How did you handle
tried.
things emotionally?
Emotionally, it was just a case of having to bottle things up because I was afraid that if I let my emotions out, I wouldn't be able to function. I wouldn't be able to do what I needed to do. Um, and I was focused on trying to keep everything together, to look after Rachel, to look after the kids, to hold down my job. And so
And
I did,
you were only given 1 day off work as well, weren't you?
yes, work, as it turned out, weren't very supportive to begin with. But I think I was scared to let my emotions out, afraid that if I let them out, I wouldn't be able to get them back in the box.
And then did you reach a breaking point?
I did.
We both did.
After 3 months, I just physically, emotionally, I was just at the end.
Right. And
And
how much support did you have? Did you have in either of your mothers or fathers or sisters or brothers?
no,
Not really.
not
No, we
really.
did it on our own.
My my mum lived a great distance away from us.
Wow.
We had
Yeah,
we had my niece. We had our niece, bless her. She used to look after the kids while Tim had to go to work. She did very well,
yeah,
didn't she?
yeah.
But apart from her, she was only 18 at the time. So
Wow.
apart from her,
So Tim, what happened when you finally just couldn't hold it all together?
I I remember going into work one day, sitting at my desk and saying to my crew commander, I've got to go to occupational health. And so I went straight over to the occupational health department, and the occupational health advisor was brilliant. He took one look at me and said, "You've got to book sick." And I said, "I can't book sick. I've got so much to do. I can't let everybody down." And he said, I'm taking it out of your hands. I'm booking you sick." So, and I remember that journey back from occupational health, and I just felt like a huge weight had been lifted, because it was one less thing for me to have
Right.
to deal with.
Did you and Rachel, after that point, have a heart-to-heart conversation
yeah,
about your needs? And I mean, both of you had a lot of needs.
that heart to heart was before Tim had actually gone to occupational health. I actually decided I didn't want to be with him anymore because he wasn't supportive. He didn't care about me. That's how I was seeing it. He didn't care about me. He was going to work, and I was very poorly. But hey, he's gone to work. He's got his priorities right. And so we both didn't tell each other how we were feeling. We bottled it all up, and then this one day I just said, I can't do this anymore. I just want out. And you kept questioning me, and I was just like adamant, no, we're over. And then you got the minister, didn't you, who had married us years before, to come and sit down and talk. And I was just like, no, I'm done. He's not cared. And it, he actually had each of us talk on our own. And then he said to Tim, and these words have always stuck in my head. So Tim, tell Rachel how you feel. And he went, I felt that there was nothing I could do to take all that pain away from you. And so then it sort of, because we didn't speak to each other, we didn't tell each other how we were really feeling. That was at the point where, yeah, you know, cancer did nearly break us. But we were much stronger than that. And again, with the help of my niece, she watched the kids in the January, and we went up north. It was absolutely freezing, and we just had 5 days of just Rachel and Tim, no cancer, no children, and it was building our relationship back up.
And here we still are.
Yeah,
And look at you. How many years later is it now?
16 now. I know. It's
So
madness.
this is a testament to how important it is to have open and honest conversations, to have
Yeah.
intervention. If you're in a marriage and you have a primary caregiver, or you have whoever it is, that it's so important to set boundaries, to express your needs, and for both of you to figure out solutions for how these needs can be met. I think that's a
Yeah.
really powerful takeaway from all of this, because now it's 16 years and you realize this is the best thing each other is the best thing you could have.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And earlier on this year, Tim was diagnosed with prostate cancer. And
Wait, how long?
obviously-
When was this? How long ago?
Earlier
early
this year.
Okay.
So it was roles reversed. I became the carer, and so yeah, it made us be able to talk with each other. We didn't shut down. We didn't
No.
come up. We just got through Tim's journey. We were able to. It was a better journey.
It was a lot easier.
Yeah.
It was a lot easier.
Right. So
but if I was to say anything about what I've learned from my experience, I'd say talk, have those conversations, be honest, and don't be afraid to ask for help.
right.
It's,
I think the hardest thing is actually initiating the conversation. When to do it. It's like never a good time. How do people initiate that conversation?
Don't know.
I mean, I would say that you need to sit down and basically ask a question. So Rachel could have asked him, I know being a carer is really difficult, and I know that I don't have a lot to give, but I want to hear how you're feeling, and I want to see if maybe I can help in some way. And then Tim could ask the same question. I've got a full-time job. I want to take care of these 5 kids. I want to be the stronghold here while you need time. But these are some of the things that I need, and these are things I can't handle. So I think to initiate for all of the listeners who are thinking, I need to have this conversation with my partner, my spouse, start with a question and say,
just one question. That's all it takes.
how are you feeling? How can I help you? In any way I can.
And I think it's a conversation that you need to have at various points throughout the journey as well. To keep revisiting those questions.
That's right, because
important.
the answer can change.
Yeah. Yeah. But communication.
Yeah, definitely.
Communication.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to open it up now to audience members. Is there anybody here who has a question for Rachel and Tim or me that we could discuss about relationships?
There's a couple in the chat, Eva.
Yes. Oh, I didn't look at it. Let's see. Sometimes you're pushed to the point where you have to talk. I have been a patient and a carer. Kate, thank you for your comment.
Yeah.
but you don't want to get to the point where you feel like there's like Tim did, where
Yeah,
Yeah.
you reach this breakdown point. So, Kate, what you're saying is, how can we prevent reaching that point by opening up conversations earlier? And certainly, as you said, Rachel and Tim, is get help. I think that's get
yeah,
Yeah.
get intervention, whether it's a minister, although your minister came on
yeah,
pretty late.
yeah,
Imagine if that minister came on earlier in the
yeah,
whole ordeal, how that may have shifted the whole, interaction between all of you, including the kids.
yeah, yeah,
And I
yeah,
think that it's an opportunity for your kids, especially the older ones, I mean, to understand how to be supportive in
yeah,
whatever way they can, but to be a part of the solution instead of just a problem to be
Yeah.
yeah,
dealt with.
Yeah.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. I mean, I work now with cancer patients at our local hospital, and what I do is I check in on how the patient is, but sometimes I actually speak with the carer as well. And I because of what we've gone through, I make sure that I turn around, and let them know you're not on your own.
And
We're here to
somebody
support.
wrote in the chat, Rachel, about PTSD. And I'm
Yeah,
wondering if by doing work like that, you've been able to cope with that traumatic experience.
yeah.
So I think,
W-
Karen, that's a really good answer to your question, is that what Rachel is doing can really help with the PTSD to
yeah,
feel like what you've been through can empower others. And
yeah, yeah. I mean, and that's I've been doing this highlighting mouth cancer for years. A couple of I think my first ever interview was about 3 months after I had treatment. So, and I think, yeah, I think I coped with mine by wanting to be able to help others.
Brilliant. Rachel, can you just tell us about life now and what your long-term effects of treatment are? I mean, you sound very articulate. Do you have sensation in your cheek, your
No,
tongue?
I still can't feel this side of my face. And when I get tired, I do slur. So I think I'm fine, and I'll say phone my mum. My mum will like, "You're tired," and be like, "No, no, you're slurring." And so yeah, I do notice I slur when I'm tired.
Uh,
And then some of the times, I mean, my daughter, bless her, she's trained engineer, but she also does aesthetics. And I didn't realise how badly I had a droop on this side of my lip.
huh.
So she was doing photos, and she said, "Oh, let me have a look." And I was really quite, oh, so I do have a little bit of something in my lip.
Do you do
Um,
some exercises for that?
no,
Well, I imagine,
nobody ever told. Again,
I
we
imagine you could strengthen those muscles.
really. I'll have to give it a
Oh,
go.
yeah. Yes, you can try the fish. You can
Oh,
try
okay.
the, what is this animal? Chipmunk? And
I'll
all
do
of
that.
these exercises can actually strengthen your lips and your mouth and your
Oh,
neck.
okay.
Mm-hmm. And
All
we
right.
should all be doing tongue exercises, moving your tongue around your mouth, pushing your cheeks out with your tongue. Of course, everybody should be brushing their tongue
Oh,
too, and always look in your mouth. We should all be
I do.
responsible. We can't rely on our dental professionals to do everything for us. So we
No.
need to be looking in our own mouths and checking for any changes.
Yep. I'm terrible. I mean, anytime I get any kind of lump, it's like, oh, and I'm straight with my consultant's brilliant. He still sees me after 16 years. He lets me go and see him one time a year. Just to have that checkup.
Peace of mind.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, reassurance.
That's great. All right. Well, our 20 minutes has come to an end.
Oh,
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. This is going to be on YouTube, and watch for our next meeting. It's going to be in 1 month, and we'll see you then. Thank you, Rachel and
Thank
Tim,
you.
and we'll
Thank
see you
you.
again.
you.
Goodbye, everybody.
Take care. Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye bye.